Good morning and welcome back to Crafting with Amy. I'm Amy and today we're going to be doing some Dollar Tree Easter and Spring DIYs using the items that I had shown in my Dollar Tree haul. This first DIY you're going to need, I got these 3 wooden rounds from Wal Mart that kind of look similar to an egg. And then I got these napkins. I end up not using those. But I got these at Dollar Store for $1. And I have a book of scrapbook paper. I really like that vintage look, but at this point I don't know which I'm going to use, that one or that one. But it came in this book of scrapbook paper from Wal Mart. They have a lot of pretty spring patterns in there. You're going to need some antique wax, Waverly chalk paint in white, Mod Podge, a glue stick is what I end up using. Mod Podge and I don't get along. Scissors, an Exacto knife. I end up not using that ribbon. I end up using a burlap type ribbon. So the first thing I do is paint all of these in the white chalk paint. And I lost footage because I had initially was going to put there's little bunnies on there, and I used on the napkins as well. I used Mod Podge and it turned into a Mod Podge mess. So I decided I would cut around the larger bunny and try my glue stick, which worked okay. I end up going in later and adding a little Mod Podge to the outside. But Mod Podge and this napkin did not work well for me. So I'm just taking the glue stick and putting this down, and then I go around the outside of it with the glue stick. But then, like I said, later on I go in and use Mod Podge on the outside. I thought these were really pretty napkins, and they came from the dollar store. They had some that were, more childlike, and I just thought these kind of looked rustic, more like Beatrice Potter type. So here I'm just taking that glue stick and going over the outside. And I think that glue stick came from dollar store. So next I'm going to take these other 2 ovals, and I decide on that mint green. It reminded me of an old like wallpaper that you would see years and years ago. And I don't know why I picked up the glue stick. I trace that, obviously, and then cut around. And I end up using the glue stick on that as well. My pen's not wanting to work here. So once you get this cut out, like I said, I just use the glue stick again to apply this to both of those oval, I call them egg shapes, our Dollar Tree didn't have any egg shapes. They didn't have anything other than those styrofoam eggs. I did get some plain eggs from Wal Mart that I'm going to use in another project. But I had to keep this as short as possible because I'm having trouble uploading with the internet. But I thought that vintage really looked pretty and picked up on that color in that napkin. I'm always changing my mind. So now I'm just showing you where I've already glued that on. I don't know what happened to that. And now I'm going to take some of that Waverly wax, antique wax, and distress it. And I have it sped up because this is just to your liking, however you want to do it, or if you don't want to do it. I have some heavy spots here when I go onto the paper, but I'm not concerned about that. I like the look of it. See, like there. But it just looks to me like something that has set in an old house. And I like that look. And I don't think it shows me gluing the center egg on top of the other two eggs. But I do. Now here I'm making little mini crosses out of those little flat craft sticks. And then I go in with that wax and go over them. I make one for each side. I tried one writing "He is risen," or painting, rather. But it didn't work out real well, so I made another one. Well, I just used a sample one. So I'm just putting that on and then wiping it off, the excess off, and then gluing across. Anyone that does a lot of decoupaging, they have a lot of really pretty napkins. They had plates and stuff to match this. But I almost gave up looking because everything was kind of cheesy looking, you know. And then I went to a different area because our dollar store isn't like other people's dollar stores either. It didn't have hardly anything. So now I have glued. I just took glue and put on the edges of that bunny and glued it down, centered it. And now I'm taking some boxwood, just little pieces that I got at Walmart, and lavender that I got at Walmart, and gluing down at the bottom. And you could prop this up somewhere. I chose to put a hanger on it to hang on the wall. So I put one little bundle of boxwood and then two little sprigs of lavender. Excuse me. You just arrange that however you like. And then I made a bow. I have some that looks similar to, it's a little checkered that I thought I was going to use, but I ended up changing my mind. It was real silky. And then I was going to do this in half and make a smaller bow, but I ended up using the full width of it and making kind of like a bow tie bow and putting up there at the top of the bunny. I went over a total of 4 times, so it would make, but I just scrunch it in the middle and take some of that jute twine and tie it in the middle. I end up not using this ribbon. And I think it's cute. I think it's old looking. I think the little bunny's pretty. I've seen people take a wet paintbrush and go around and tear those napkins just exactly around the shape, but I was scared to do that. Now I take a little bit of jute twine and make a little bow to go on top of that one and add a hanger to the back, and this is done. And I think it's adorable. I may be a little biased, but I think it's adorable. I didn't take those things off the back. And there is the finished product. Of course, I apologize for the shadow. It's the lighting's poor. I think it's so cute. It's a cute little bunny. And this is supposed to say DIY number 2, but I don't know what happened. So for this one, I changed my mind 1,000 times. That's just what I do. This was one of the only Easter bunny shapes they had at the Dollar Tree that just opened up closer to me. So I use that. I think I'm going to use that boxwood because I planned on making those little clothespins into carrots, and I do, but I'm going to save those for another project. So I totally changed my mind on this. And I'm going to use the other side. What threw me was because it's holding that banner, there are things under its arm, and I couldn't get those cut out. Um, to which makes it look like it's holding a sign. Well, of course, it's looking like it's. Of course, it looks like it's coming out of a hat. I guess that's what it's doing. But because I could not get that extra, I guess the hat rim off, I come up with a different idea. So I just paint it. I do 2 coats of the chalk paint. I'm not really worried about a whole lot of coverage, but I do the 2 coats of chalk paint on the bunny. And I don't make you watch all that. And then I decide to take that little spring, because I have another one of these, and my husband's handing me a different pen because that one's not working, and throwing scissors at me. I'm using some more of that craft paper or scrapbook paper, and going to make another banner. I just didn't like the glittery colors. There's the little carrots I painted. I made out of those little clothespins, but I'm going to use those on something else. My brain gets going one way and then it just changes. But I think a lot of us do that. And I think this is a really pretty scrapbook paper also. So now I decide I'm going to almost make it like a paper doll. Do the insides of the ears. I was initially going to paint those. And then I thought, you know what? I'm just going to put some scrapbook paper there. And then I make it like a little dress out of a different scrapbook paper. And I think it turns out cute. It screams spring, but I think that's pretty paper. So I do the ears out of that, and I do the same thing. I forget the Mod Podge, and I just use the hot glue. And this is where I mess up because I realize, okay, I would have to do this on the front side, trace around it. So I finally figure that out, and I get it cut out. Excuse me. I've been sick. I'm on my 2nd antibiotic. My doctor had to switch me. But it's just all of these allergies and sinuses and upper respiratory infection. So I glue that down, and then I glue down the little sign. But first I take this, I feel like coordinating. I used to have a problem with mixing patterns, but I think it's cute. And cut out the shape of, like, instead of that being a hat, it being like her dress. And I will go in and put, I don't show it, but I'll put craft paper. I have some of that brown craft paper from Dollar Store to cover this up. See, it took me forever to figure out that was a hat. I was like, why does it look like this? So I just do the same thing. I just take a glue stick and glue this down. I keep this one pretty simple just because I got on a different path. But I think it'd be cute for a little girl's room, or I was thinking paper dolls while I was doing this. So now I've glued all that on, and I have these letters, I believe, came from Wal Mart a long time ago, and I've got spring, and I paint those in folk art black paint, matte paint, and then I glue them onto the banner. Of course, I don't show all of that because I just paint the outside and then the rims of it, or edges of it, and then the top. And now I have taken, I don't know what happened to that footage, but I took 2 black buttons for eyes, and I just took some pink, I think it's folk art or apple barrel paint, really pale pink, and just kind of dotted on the cheeks and a little nose, and then I took a Sharpie and did the mouth, and now I'm just gluing the letters spring onto that banner. I don't put a bow. Like I said, this just reminded me of like paper dolls once I got this thought. And I think it would be really cute for a little girl's room. Or, you know, anywhere in your house. And there is the second one. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I am working on some other projects. I just have to be limited in what I can upload. And I apologize for that shadow. So if you enjoyed these, I hope you'll consider subscribing, leaving me a comment. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're returning, I appreciate it. And hit that subscribe, like, and notification bell. And thank you for watching, and be watching out. I think I'm going to go back to Tuesdays for my uploads. Thank you, and